Okay, here we're going to do some basic image manipulation. What we're going to do is we're going to insert an image into the page that we created. So what I'm going to do is, this time, is I'm going to close down this version of the page. I'm going to close down this version because this is the online version, which we don't need. I'm going to leave this one open, which is our local version. So this is the C drive index.htm. I'm going to leave this as it is, and in here I'm going to actually work. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put all images that we're using into this folder here, into the images folder. This folder here, underscore notes, has been created automatically by Dreamweaver once we define the site. So Dreamweaver creates its own folder here. What gets stored in here is design notes, etc. Okay, if I go to my desktop, I have now got this £20 JPEG, like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this image into my images folder. So I'm going to go copy and then open my website, and I'm going to go into images, and there's nothing in images yet, so I'm going to paste this. Okay, now if I want to look at this before I put it in, I can just double click it and it's going to open up in Fireworks. And this is the image here, it's a £20. Okay, what I can do here is I can export it or adjust the size, etc. But we'll come back to that in image manipulation. For the time being, I just want to insert the image as is into the page. So I'm going to go back over to my Dreamweaver version of this page, and then I'm just going to click return. And here in our, if you don't actually have this open, so if you have something like this, just go to Window and just go to Objects. That's just your Objects bar. As you can see up here, there is an asterisk after appearing. This asterisk appears when we do something to the page and we haven't saved it. So if I press Ctrl S, the asterisk disappears because I did a return onto the next line. That's why the asterisk appeared. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to press return again, the asterisk is back up, and on the very first it's insert image. So I'm just going to click, and if I click on images, this will disappear because it's a defined site. So now it's telling it that go into the folder images, and in here you should find this image here called £20.jpg. So I select, and that's what we get. There is our image inserted. Now, if we edit the image, so let's go back to Fireworks. If we edit the image, and we'll say, let's just first of all we'll modify, and we'll make the canvas bigger, because you see here the canvas is the size that we actually have to work in. And what I want to do is I want to put a shadow, or if I want to make it look like a bundle of 20s, I have to make the canvas bigger. So I want the canvas roughly to be about this size. So I'm going to go modify, I'm going to go canvas size. At the moment its width is 100 by a height of 52. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the width to, let's see, 300, and I'm going to make the height 300, and we get this. Here we go. This is now our full size canvas that we can actually work with. If it's too big at the moment, we can always crop it. And now I can move this and place this wherever needs be in the actual image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in Fireworks, I'm using Fireworks MX. If you're using an older version, the only major difference is that the layout here is actually in boxes. But to access any of the tools, it's still pretty much in the same place in Window, etc. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to have multiple £20 notes. So one of the easiest ways you can do this is you can go edit, and you can go copy, and then you can go edit, and you can go paste. And there should be now two versions of the £20. So we have it like so. So you can keep doing this if you want. Alternatively, you can press the Alt key and just drag, and it'll drag a copy out. So press down the Alt, drag it, and it'll copy. Press down the Alt, drag, and it'll copy. So here you go. So now we have multiple images of the same thing. So what I can do now is I can modify, I can transform, and I can numeric transform, and I can rotate the object. So if I said minus 45 degrees, there we go. We have it like so. Alternatively, if I want them all to be at this, I could delete all these, and then I could just go Alt and drag like so, and then I could Alt and drag again. Alternatively, I can select on each one, and I can just press Control on my keyboard and T, which will bring up the transform tool, and I can adjust it here by hand. Okay, and then I can grab the third one, and I can go Control T and do the same thing again. So you can, I'll just rotate that a bit more. Okay. Now, with Control, I'm just going to drag one out here to show you more. If I press Control and T, you'll notice that in here, there's get these boxes, which lets me scale. So I'm just going to go Control Z to undo that. If I press Control T again, you'll see here I can scale it this way. So I'll just Control Z to undo that, and press Control T again, and then out here I get to rotate. So just Control Z to undo that. Okay. What I can do now is I can go into my layers, and this will show me each bitmap will have its own separate placing. Or I can click in here to add a layer. So I can add a new layer, and I can adjust the level of the layers. So here we go. And I can close, and I can turn off layers like so. There's nothing in layer 1. The web layer we'll do later. And there's nothing in layer 1, so I can turn it on and off. And I've created now a new layer here, layer 2. And the background is here, and I can lock it by just clicking in this box. Once it's locked, I can't access that. So in layer 2, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to select here and select the rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a box, quite simply, like so. Now the box has been filled in red, and I just have to drag this tool up here to access the fill color. So here I want it to fill white, and here now you can see hexadecimal reference values coming up for colors. So as we said, white was FFF and black is 00000, and pretty much everything in between. This here is what's called a web safe palette. You get 256 colors that are guaranteed to be displayed correctly on every monitor. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick white. Okay. And now we can minimize that layer and lock it, and we can come back up here into our £20 notes like so. Now what we might want to do is we might want to add some sort of effect to the £20 notes, say like a drop shadow